Welcome, friend. Thank you for making this time for your inner peace. Have you ever felt that the more you give to others, the less you are truly seen? Perhaps you have experienced a quiet moment at home where you wondered if your kindness has become an expectation rather than a gift. In our modern world, we are often pressured to react to everything instantly. This constant demand for our attention can leave us feeling tired and overlooked. The Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself that we have power over our minds, not outside events. To illustrate this, imagine a situation where a loved one speaks to you with unnecessary sharpness. The instinct is to defend your dignity immediately. However, the Stoics practiced a different way. In this video, we will explore the principle of the pause and a simple daily exercise to help you maintain your calm. Please, stay with us until the end as we find this stillness together. If you are ready to reclaim your peace, please type, "I control my response." The first pillar we will explore today is a concept the ancient Stoics called Prohairesis. It is a word that sounds complex, but its meaning is quite simple and very beautiful. It refers to your faculty of choice. It is the part of your mind that decides how to label what happens to you. Think of it as the inner gatekeeper of your heart. In the Stoic view, this power is the only thing in the entire universe that truly belongs to you. Your health may fade, your possessions may be lost, and even your reputation may be attacked by others. But your ability to choose your own character and your own response remains yours until your very last breath. This is the foundation of your dignity. It is the quiet center that no storm can reach. In our modern life, however, practicing this choice has become more difficult than ever before. We live in an age of instant reaction. Our phones chime with messages that demand an immediate answer. We see news that is designed to make us feel angry or afraid right now. There is a social pressure to always have an opinion and to express it the moment we feel a sting. For many of us, especially as we have spent years caring for others, we have developed a habit of reacting out of a sense of duty or hurt. We feel that if we do not respond quickly, we are being weak. But the Stoics would tell us that the person who reacts without thinking is like a puppet. When someone pulls the string of an insult, the puppet dances with anger. When someone pulls the string of a crisis, the puppet dances with panic. To reclaim your power, you must learn to cut those strings. You must find the space between the event and your response. Let us look at a modern illustration of this struggle. This is a fictional situation, but it may feel very familiar to you. Imagine it is a quiet Tuesday evening. You are sitting in your favorite chair, perhaps enjoying a cup of tea. You have spent the day thinking about your family, and you send a thoughtful message to an adult child or a relative you have not heard from in a while. You pour your heart into a kind question, hoping for a warm connection. A few hours later, your phone chimes. You look down, expecting a kind word. Instead, you see a short, dismissive reply. It might say something like, "I am too busy for this right now. Please stop checking in on me." In that moment, the sting is immediate. You feel it in your chest. Your heart begins to beat a little faster. You feel a rush of heat. A lifetime of memories comes flooding back. You think of the sacrifices you made for them. You think of the nights you stayed awake when they were ill. You think of the financial help you gave when times were hard. The impulse to reply with a sharp, clever remark is overwhelming. You want to remind them of everything you have done. You want to defend your dignity. Your thumb hovers over the keyboard, ready to send a message that will surely make them feel the guilt you are feeling. This is the moment of testing. This is where the Stoic threshold is either guarded or abandoned. The Stoics looked at this situation with great clarity. They taught that the dismissive text message is just a series of digital marks on a screen. It has no power to hurt your soul unless you permit it. Epictetus, who spent the first part of his life as a slave in a cold and difficult environment, understood this better than anyone. He taught his students to look at their emotions as if they were visitors at the door. He said that we should not be swept off our feet by the vividness of the impression. Instead, he told us to say to the feeling, "Wait for me a little." Impression. Allow me to see who you are and what you are an impression of. Allow me to put you to the test. What Epictetus meant is that the hurt you feel is not the text message itself. The hurt is the story you are telling yourself about the text message. You are telling yourself that you are unloved. You are telling yourself that you have been disrespected. But a Stoic realizes that the other person's behavior is a reflection of their own mind, not yours. Perhaps they are having a stressful day at work. Perhaps they are struggling with a burden they have not shared with you. Their sharp words are a sign of their own lack of peace. By pausing, you realize that you do not have to accept their chaos into your own heart. You realize that your value as a parent, a friend, or a human being is not determined by a 3-second reply on a screen. This is where we apply the practical exercise called the 10-breath rule. It is a simple but powerful way to build your Stoic threshold. The next time you feel a surge of hurt, anger, or the need to defend yourself, do not touch your phone. Do not open your mouth. Instead, commit to taking 10 slow, deep breaths. Step number 1. Take the first 3 breaths to simply acknowledge the physical sensation. Feel the heat in your face or the tightness in your chest. Do not judge it. Just observe it as a physical event, like rain falling on a roof. Step number 2. During breaths 4, 5, and 6, ask yourself a very specific question. Ask, will my response build a bridge, or will it just build a wall? A bridge leads to understanding and keeps your dignity intact. A wall only creates more distance and more regret. Step number 3. During the final 4 breaths, remind yourself of your own worth. Say to yourself, I am at peace, regardless of how others choose to act. My character is my own responsibility. By the time you reach the 10th breath, you will find that the initial heat has begun to cool. The urge to lash out has lost its power. You may still feel a little sad, but you are no longer a puppet. You have used your prohairesis. You have exercised your faculty of choice. You might decide to reply with kindness tomorrow, or you might decide that no reply is needed at all. Either way, you have remained the master of your own soul. This practice is especially helpful when you are overthinking a past disagreement or when you feel betrayed by someone you trusted. Remember that their actions belong to them, but your peace belongs to you. You are the only person who can give your peace away. No one can take it. As we move through our day, let us remember that the pause is where our freedom lives. It is a small act, but it is an act of great courage and wisdom. It is the way we honor ourselves and the people we love, even when it is difficult. Before we move to the next pillar, I invite you to take a moment to reflect on this. If you are committed to guarding your inner peace today, please share that commitment with our community. It helps us all to know we are not walking this path alone. Please type in the comments, "My peace is my power." I will say it once more so it stays with you as you listen. My peace is my power. The second pillar we explore today is a beautiful and deeply comforting principle that the Stoics called Prohairesis. In our modern language, we often call this the reserve clause. It is a way of approaching life where we commit ourselves fully to our actions, while remaining completely at peace with whatever outcome follows. To understand this, imagine un archer in ancient times. The archer chooses his bow with care. He fashions his arrows to be straight and true. He practices his aim for hours under the sun. When the moment comes to shoot, he draws the string back with all his strength and focus. But the moment the arrow leaves his bow, the result is no longer in his hands. A sudden gust of wind may blow the arrow off course. The target may move at the last second. The bow itself might break. For a Stoic, the victory is not in hitting the center of the target. The victory is in the excellence of the aim. The victory is in the effort itself. In our modern lives, especially as we move into our mature years, this principle is both more necessary and more difficult to apply. We live in a society that is obsessed with results. We are told that if we work hard enough, we will be successful. We are told that if we are good parents, our children will always be happy and grateful. We are told that if we eat well and exercise, we will never fall ill. Because of these modern promises, we have become fixers. We feel that it is our job to control the world around us. When things go wrong, we do not just feel sad, we feel like we have failed. We overthink our past choices, wondering what we could have done differently to prevent a health crisis, a family conflict, or a global event that disturbs our peace. We carry the weight of the world on our shoulders, forgetting that much of that weight was never ours to carry in the first place. Let us look at a situation that many of us face as we care for those we love. This is a fictional illustration, but the emotions within it are very real. Imagine you are caring for a spouse or an aging parent who is struggling with their health. You have spent your entire day tending to their needs. You have prepared their meals, managed their medications, and kept the house in order. You are physically exhausted and emotionally drained. In the evening, you bring them a glass of water or a warm blanket, hoping for a small smile or a word of thanks. Instead, because they are in pain or frustrated by their own loss of independence, they speak to you with sharpness. They complain that the water is too cold or that you are hovering too much. In that moment, the pain you feel is not just from their words. It comes from the feeling that your effort was not enough to produce a happy outcome. You feel a sense of resentment. You feel betrayed by the circumstances of your life. You might think, after all I have done, why must I be treated this way? This is where the reserve clause becomes your greatest shield. A Stoic would look at this situation and realize that providing care is within your power. But receiving gratitude is not. Your virtue lies in the kindness you offered, not in the reaction of the person receiving it. Marcus Aurelius, who ruled the Roman Empire while facing constant wars and a devastating plague, often reminded himself of this truth. He lived in a world where he had more power than anyone else. Yet he knew that most things remained outside his control. He did not ask the universe to make his life easy. He asked for the strength to face it with dignity. He wrote in his private journals that everything that happens is either endurable or not. If it is endurable, then endure it and stop complaining. If it is not endurable, then it will end your life, and your pain will cease anyway. This may sound firm, but for Marcus, it was a call to inner strength. He was telling himself that as long as he was alive, he had the capacity to handle what was in front of him. He realized that other people's moods and words were external events, like the weather. You do not get angry at the rain for getting you wet. You simply find an umbrella. The reserve clause is that mental umbrella. This principle is especially helpful when you are dealing with a sense of betrayal or when you are overthinking a situation where you feel your kindness was taken for granted. You can apply the reserve clause by separating your duty from the world's response. You do your part because it is the right thing to do, not because you are trading your effort for a specific result. When you stop demanding that the world behave in a certain way, you find that the world loses its power to upset you. To help you practice this today, we will use an exercise called the "if nothing prevents" phrase. This is a simple mental habit that you can start using right now to prepare your mind for the day ahead. Step number 1. Look at your plans for today. Perhaps you plan to call a friend, finish a small task around the house, or simply enjoy a quiet walk. As you think of each task, add a small phrase to the end of it. Say to yourself, "I will have a meaningful conversation with my friend. If nothing prevents it, I will enjoy my walk this afternoon." Fate permitting. Step number 2. Understand what the words, "if nothing prevents it," really mean. They are an acknowledgement that while your intention is firm, the outcome is subject to the laws of the universe. By adding this phrase, you are making a silent agreement with yourself. You are saying, "I will give my best effort to this task, but I will not let my peace be destroyed if things do not go as planned." Step number 3. When a disruption happens, and it likely will, do not react with frustration. Instead, think of the phrase you said earlier. Remind yourself that the disruption was the part you could not control. You have already succeeded because you showed up with a good intention. You did your part. And that is where your pride should stay. Practice this for the next 7 days. Whether you are cooking a meal, attending a doctor's appointment, or trying to reconcile with a family member, always include the reserve clause in your mind. I will do my best, and I will accept what comes. This simple shift in thinking creates a profound change in your spirit. It moves you from being a person who is constantly fighting against the tide to a person who knows how to swim with it. You will find that you have more energy for the people who matter, because you are no longer wasting it on anger or disappointment. As we conclude this part of our journey, remember that your worth is not found in your successes or in the approval of others. Your worth is found in the integrity of your aim. You are doing a difficult thing by practicing this philosophy, and you should be proud of that effort alone. If you feel ready to let go of the things you cannot change and focus on the beauty of your own effort, please share that intention with us. Please type in the comments, "I do my best and leave the rest." I will repeat it so you can hold it in your mind. I do my best and leave the rest. The third pillar we will explore today is the concept of dignity in solitude, or what the ancient Stoics often referred to as justice to oneself. When we hear the word justice, we usually think of a courtroom or the way we treat other people fairly. We think of giving our neighbors their due or being honest in our dealings. But the Stoics had a much deeper understanding. They believed that justice begins at home, within the walls of your own mind. They argued that you owe a debt of respect, attention, and care to your own soul. This is the principle of self-sovereignty. It means that you are the ruler of your internal kingdom, and you have a duty not to abandon your post. Justice to yourself means recognizing that your value is a fundamental fact of your existence, not something that is granted to you by the approval or the presence of others. It is the realization that you are a complete human being. Even when the room is still and the phone is not ringing. In our modern world, this principle has become incredibly difficult to hold on to. We live in a society that is obsessed with being useful and being seen. From the time we are young, we are taught that our value comes from our roles. We are defined by being a productive employee, a busy parent, or a helpful neighbor. Because of this, as we move into our later years, we often face a profound crisis of identity when the children leave the nest and build lives of their own, or when we step away from the careers that once occupied our every thought. We can feel as though we are fading away. We feel like a book that has been read and put back on a high shelf to gather dust. We look around at a fast-paced world that seems to prize youth and constant activity, and we start to believe the lie that we have lost our position. This feeling of being invisible or no longer needed can create a hollow sensation in the heart. We begin to feel that we only truly exist when we are serving someone else's needs, without someone to help or a task to complete. We feel like a shadow. Let us look at a situation that many of us have experienced, especially during a quiet weekend. This is a fictional illustration, but I want you to listen to the feelings behind it. Imagine it is a Sunday afternoon. The house is very still. The chores are done. The laundry is folded, and there is nothing left on your to-do list. You sit by the window and watch the world go by. You see neighbors walking together and families driving to dinner. You wait for a call or a visit, but the afternoon passes in silence. In that stillness, a heavy feeling begins to settle over you. You feel a sense of insignificance. You might think to yourself, "Who am I if I am not being a mother or a father right now? Who am I if I am not the one people turn to for answers?" You feel like you are just waiting for life to happen to you again. This is what we call the hollow sensation. It is the feeling that your life is an empty vessel that can only be filled by the presence of others. You feel like furniture in your own home, present but unnoticed. The Stoic philosophers looked at this silence and saw something entirely different. They saw it as a grand opportunity to practice the highest form of justice. They believed that if you are bored or lonely when you are by yourself, it is because you have not yet become a good friend to yourself. Seneca, the wise statesman who faced both great wealth and great isolation, spent much of his time reflecting on this. He believed that the mind is a vast and beautiful place that deserves to be explored. He taught that we should never feel less alone than when we are in the company of our own thoughts and virtues. Seneca wrote a letter to his friend Lucilius with a very specific piece of advice that we should hold close today. He said, "Withdraw into yourself as far as possible. Associate with those who will make a better man of you. Welcome those whom you yourself can improve." When Seneca spoke of withdrawing into yourself, he was not talking about being cold or pushing people away. He was talking about reclaiming your sovereignty. He was reminding us that we should not be desperate for any company just to escape our own minds. If we do not value our own company, we are committing an injustice against our own soul. We are treating ourselves as if we are not worth knowing. Stoic analysis tells us that the quiet of a Sunday afternoon is not a sign of your unimportance. It is a sign of your freedom. It is the time when you are no longer a servant to the needs of the world. It is the time when you can finally tend to the garden of your own character. Whatever your faith, you can see this as a time to sit with the Spirit and honor the life you have been given. You are not a shadow. You are the observer of the world. And that is a position of great dignity. This principle is vital to apply when you are feeling the pain of a broken relationship or when you feel that your life's work has been forgotten. It is especially helpful when you find yourself overthinking past mistakes. When you are alone, the mind tends to wander toward regret. But justice to yourself means being a fair judge. A fair judge does not punish someone forever for a mistake made 20 years ago. A fair judge acknowledges the lesson and allows the person to move forward with dignity. You owe that same fairness to yourself. To help you practice this sense of self-sovereignty, I want to introduce a daily exercise we call the sacred hour of study. This is not about school or passing a test. It is about honoring your mind as a place of value. Step number 1. Set aside exactly 20 minutes every single afternoon. This must be a time when you are not helping anyone, not checking your messages, and not doing chores. This is a dedicated appointment with your own soul. Step number 2. Choose one thing that feeds your mind. It could be a book of philosophy, a book of scripture, a piece of music you love, or a craft like woodworking or knitting that requires your full attention. The goal is not to finish the book or create a masterpiece. The goal is to simply be present with the beauty of a human thought or a skillful action. Step number 3. While you are in this 20-minute block, if a thought of loneliness or unimportance enters your mind, greet it with a smile. Say to yourself, I am busy honoring my own mind right now. I am giving myself the justice I deserve. Do this every day for the next week. You will find that the silence of the house begins to feel different. Instead of feeling like a hollow space, it starts to feel like a sanctuary. You will realize that you do not need to be busy to be valuable. You do not need to be noticed by the world to be significant. By spending this time with yourself, you are building an inner citadel that no one can take away. You are proving to yourself that your company is worth having. This is how you reclaim your dignity in later years. You stop being a person who is waiting for life to start, and you become the person who is already living it, fully, from the inside out. As we conclude this reflection on solitude, remember that the greatest relationship you will ever have is the one you have with your own conscience. Treat it with the respect it deserves. When you are kind to yourself, you find that you have a much deeper and more genuine kindness to offer the world when you do step back out into it. If you are ready to stop seeking validation from the outside, to start finding it is within your own heart. I invite you to join our community in this commitment. Please type in the comments. My value is internal. I will repeat this beautiful truth for you to remember. My value is internal. My value is internal. Now that we have established the 3 main pillars of our inner citadel, we must learn how to apply these principles to the most difficult challenges of life. This is the stage where philosophy moves from a book into the real world. The ancient Stoics were not interested in beautiful theories that only worked when life was easy. They were soldiers. emperors, and teachers who faced extreme hardship, loss, and betrayal. They developed a specific way to apply the Stoic Threshold to the moments that threaten to break our spirit. This principle is about taking the heavy, tangled emotions of our modern lives and refining them into a source of steady strength. It is the practice of maintaining your dignity when the world around you is acting with a lack of integrity. It is the realization that your character is a fortress that you alone hold the keys to. In our modern life, applying these scenarios is incredibly difficult because we are taught to seek closure and justice from other people. We feel that if someone has betrayed our trust or treated us unfairly, we cannot be at peace until they apologize or face consequences. We live in an era of constant comparison and deep overthinking. As we age, these feelings can become even heavier. We look back on decades of relationships and sometimes feel a profound sense of loss. We might feel that we have been discarded by a workplace after years of service, or that our loyalty to a friend was never truly returned. The modern world tells us that we are victims of our circumstances. It encourages us to dwell on the past and to worry about what others think of us. This creates a loop of overthinking that can keep us awake at night, replaying old conversations and wishing we had said something different. We feel that we are losing time, and that we do not have enough left to waste on such pain. Let us look at a situation that touches many of us deeply. This is a fictional illustration, but it represents a very common human experience. Imagine you have a friend you have known for over 20 years. You have shared your lives, your secrets, and your struggles. You have always been there for them during their difficult times. One day, you discover that this friend has spoken behind your back in a way that is deeply unkind and untrue. They have shared your private matters with others to make themselves look better. The betrayal feels like a physical blow. You feel a sense of absolute coldness in your heart. You begin to question everything. You think, was the entire friendship a lie? How could they do this after all I have done? You feel a desperate need to confront them, to scream, or to find a way to make them feel the same pain. This betrayal feels like it has stolen a piece of your history. You find yourself overthinking every interaction you had with them for the last 10 years, looking for signs that you missed. The Stoic analysis of this situation is both firm and deeply healing. A Stoic would remind you that this person's behavior is an external event that belongs entirely to them. Their choice to be dishonest or unfaithful is a reflection of their own character, not yours. When someone betrays you, they are the ones who have suffered the greatest loss. They have lost their integrity. They have lost their ability to be a person of their word. You, on the other hand, have lost nothing of your own virtue. You are still a person of honor. You are still a person of kindness. To let their betrayal turn you into a bitter or hateful person is to let them win twice. You are handing them the keys to your soul. Marcus Aurelius, who dealt with betrayal from his own generals and friends, wrote a very famous reminder to himself. He said that the best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. This means that your greatest victory is to remain a person of character, even when others do not. You do not have to lower yourself to their level to find justice. Your justice is found in the fact that you remain whole. When you feel betrayed, you should apply this logic. My peace is my responsibility, and their character is theirs. If they chose to be a person who betrays, that is a tragedy for them. but it does not have to be a tragedy for you. This perspective is vital to apply when you are dealing with family conflicts, the end of a long marriage, or feeling used by those you cared for. You must realize that you did your part with honor, and that is where your pride must stay. Now, let us address the second common scenario, overthinking the past and feeling regret. Many of us find ourselves lying awake at 3 in the morning, thinking about a choice we made 40 years ago. We think, what if I had taken that other job? What if I had been more patient with my parents? What if I had moved to a different city? This overthinking is a form of self-torture. It is an injustice against your present self. The Stoics had a concept called amor fati, or the love of fate. They believed that the past is dead and gone. It is now part of the unchangeable fabric of the universe. To spend today regretting yesterday is to lose 2 days instead of 1. Seneca, who spent many years in exile, understood that our minds often create more suffering than the events themselves. He wrote to his friend that we suffer more in imagination than in reality. He meant that while the past event is over, our overthinking keeps the pain alive and growing. To help you apply the Stoic threshold to these heavy scenarios, I want to introduce a practice called the 5-minute honor rule. This is a practical way to stop the loop of overthinking and betrayal. Step number 1. When a thought of betrayal or a past regret enters your mind, give yourself exactly 5 minutes to acknowledge the feeling. Do not fight it. Set a timer if you need to. Allow yourself to feel the sadness or the frustration fully. Acknowledge that you are human and that these feelings are a sign that you value integrity. Step number 2. Once the 5 minutes are up, ask yourself one question. Ask, what is the most honorable thing I can do in the next 5 minutes? Notice that the question is not about the past or about the other person. It is about your next 5 minutes. It could be as simple as making a healthy meal, calling someone who actually appreciates you, or finishing a task you have been avoiding. Step number 3. Move your body and complete that one honorable action. By doing this, you are proving to your mind that you are still the author of your own story. You are proving that the past and the betrayals of others do not have the power to stop you from being a person of virtue right now. Apply this practice whenever you feel the weight of regret or the sting of a broken relationship. If you catch yourself overthinking at night, use the 5-minute honor rule to return your focus to your breath or to a prayer of gratitude. Remind yourself that you have already endured the past. You do not need to endure it 1,000 times more in your mind. You are here now. You are safe. You are a person of value. The Stoics remind us that the world may be unpredictable and people may be difficult, but our response is always our own. By choosing to be unlike those who hurt us, and by choosing to love the life we have rather than the life we might have had, we find a peace that nothing can shake. This is the true meaning of mental strength. It is not about being cold. It is about being steady. It is about realizing that you have the power to turn every challenge into a lesson and every betrayal into an opportunity to practice your own excellence. If you are ready to let go of the pain of the past and the opinions of those who do not value you, I invite you to join our community in this final affirmation of the day. Please type in the comments. I am the author of my story. I will say it once more, so it sinks deep into your heart. I am the author of my story. I am the author of my story. As we come to the final and perhaps most important part of our journey together, we must look at how to turn these ancient ideas into a living, breathing reality. The Stoics were very clear that philosophy is not something you merely read or think about once a week. They compared it to a physical craft. Like woodworking or medicine, you do not become a master carpenter by reading a book about tools. You become one by picking up the saw every single day. The principle of the Stoic daily routine is the commitment to training your mind in the quiet moments so that you are ready when the difficult moments arrive. It is the practice of setting a deliberate intention in the morning and conducting a gentle review in the evening. This creates a structure for your life that provides a sense of purpose and control. No matter what is happening in the world outside your door, it is the realization that while we cannot control the length of our lives, we can absolutely control the depth and the quality of each day we are given. In our modern life, however, having a consistent daily routine has become a significant challenge. We are surrounded by distractions that are designed to pull us away from ourselves the moment we wake up. Many of us have developed the habit of reaching for our phones or turning on the television before we have even had our first cup of coffee. We fill our minds with the news of global conflicts, the opinions of strangers, and the demands of our busy schedules. By doing this, we are handing over our peace to the world before the day has even begun. At the same time, many people in their later years find themselves without a formal structure. When the demands of a career or a busy household have passed, the days can begin to feel aimless. Without a routine, we can fall into a pattern of overthinking the past or worrying about the future. We feel a sense of fatigue that makes the idea of starting a new habit feel overwhelming. We might think to ourselves that we are too old to change or that it doesn't matter anymore. But a Stoic would say that every morning is a new life, and every evening is a chance to find peace. Let us look at a situation that illustrates the difference a routine can make. This is a fictional illustration, but I want you to imagine two different ways of starting the same day. Imagine you are 70 years old, living a quiet life. In the first version of the morning, you wake up and immediately turn on the news. You hear about rising prices and political arguments. You check your messages and see a stressful request from a relative. By 8 o'clock, your heart is heavy, and you feel a sense of dread about the hours ahead. You spend the day reacting to these small stresses, and by evening, you are exhausted and resentful. Now, imagine a second version of that same morning. You wake up and keep the world at bay for just 5 minutes. You sit on the edge of your bed or in your favorite chair. You breathe slowly and acknowledge that today will bring challenges, but you decide that they will not touch your inner citadel. You set a simple intention to be patient and kind, regardless of how others act. When you encounter the same news and the same messages later in the day, you see them through a different lens. You have a shield. In the evening, instead of just falling into sleep with a heavy mind, you take 5 minutes to look back on your day with kindness. You see where you succeeded and where you can improve tomorrow. This small change in routine transforms the entire experience of your life. It moves you from being a person who is pushed around by fate to a person who is walking their own path with dignity. The Stoic analysis of this daily training is deeply rooted in the idea of preparedness. Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, was a man who faced enormous pressure every single day. He had to manage a vast empire, deal with dishonest politicians, and lead his people through a plague. He did not wake up naturally wise and calm. He worked at it every morning. He wrote to himself in his journals, not for an audience, but as a form of spiritual exercise. He understood that the mind must be prepared for the reality of human nature. Marcus Aurelius wrote one of the most famous morning reminders in history. He said to himself, "Begin the morning by saying to yourself, I shall meet with the busybody, the ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, unsocial. All these things happen to them by reason of their ignorance of what is good and evil." By saying this, Marcus was not being cynical or negative. He was being realistic. He was removing the element of surprise. If you expect everyone to be kind and perfect, you will be constantly disappointed and angry. But if you prepare yourself to meet difficult people, their behavior cannot shock you or pull you out of your peace. You realize that their actions are a sign of their own confusion, and you can respond with the dignity of a Stoic. This is the power of the morning routine. It allows you to put on your mental armor before the battle begins. To help you build this inner strength, I want to provide a specific 7-day threshold plan that you can start tomorrow. This plan is designed to be simple, respectful of your time, and effective for a mature mind. Step number 1. The morning preparation. Spend exactly 5 minutes upon waking. Before you touch a phone or a remote control, sit in silence. Repeat these words to yourself slowly. I will meet people today who are difficult and ungrateful. I will not let them touch my soul, for I know the nature of the good. I will do my best today, if nothing prevents it. This sets your intention and guards your gate. Step number 2. The nightly review. Before you go to sleep, spend 5 minutes looking back on your day. Be like a gentle friend to yourself. Ask 3 questions. Where did I lose my temper or my peace? Where did I find the pause and act with dignity? What is one small thing I can do better tomorrow? This is not about guilt. It is about awareness. It is how we grow. Step number 3. Follow the 7-day progression. On day 1 and day 2, focus entirely on the 1-0 breath rule with your digital devices. Do not let a chime or a notification dictate your mood. On day 3 and day 4, practice the pause before you speak in person or on the phone. Even if it is a pleasant conversation, practice the deliberate choice of your words. On day 5 and day 6, practice observing a difficult person, perhaps on the news or in your life, without judging them. Just see them as a person who is struggling to find their own way. On day 7, take a quiet hour to reflect on the silence you have created. Look at how much more energy you have when you are not fighting the world. If you are caring for a loved one, or if you are feeling the weight of a long-term illness, this routine is your sanctuary. It is the one place where you are not a patient or a caretaker, you are a philosopher. It is the place where you reclaim your identity. This routine is especially helpful for those who struggle with overthinking. By giving your mind a specific task in the morning and a specific review at night, you stop the endless loop of worry. You give your soul a sense of completion. As you go through this 7-day plan, remember that the goal is not perfection. There will be days when you forget, and there will be days when you lose your calm. That is part of being human. The Stoics were not perfect people. They were people who never stopped trying. When you fail, simply acknowledge it in your evening review and start again the next morning. Each sunrise is an invitation from the universe to try again. Each breath is a chance to return to your inner citadel. You have the wisdom of your years. and you have the strength of your character. By adding this daily routine, you are giving those qualities a structure to shine through. You are proving that your peace is not a gift from the world, but a creation of your own mind. You are becoming a person who is steady, reliable, and deeply at peace. If you are ready to commit to this 7-day training and find the strength that lives in the daily practice, I invite you to join our community in this final promise. Please type in the comments, "I grow stronger every day." I will repeat it for you, to carry into your sleep or your morning. I grow stronger every day. I grow stronger every day. We return now to that quiet room where we began. We remember the sting of a sharp word or the weight of feeling ignored. But now, we see these things differently. We see that the threshold between the world and our heart is where our true freedom resides. You do not need to change the behavior of others to find happiness. You only need to guard the space within. The core lesson of our journey today is simple and full of hope. Your peace is not a gift from the world. It is a creation of your own mind. Kindness is a strength when it is given with wisdom, and silence is a power when it is chosen with dignity. As you move forward, remember the routine we have shared. It begins with 5 minutes in the morning to prepare your mental armor. It continues throughout the day as you find the 10 slow breaths during the pause. And it concludes with 5 minutes in the evening to review your progress with a kind and honest heart. By following the 7-day plan we discussed, you are building a citadel that will serve you for the rest of your life. It is never too late to reclaim your sovereignty. What is one small act of self-respect you will commit to today? Perhaps it is taking those 10 breaths before you reply to a difficult message. Or perhaps it is finally taking that sacred hour for your own study and peace. Please share your small commitment in the comments below. When we share our intentions, we build a community of steady and wise minds. We realize that we are not alone in our struggles. If this reflection has brought you a sense of calm, I invite you to join our community and share this message with someone who might be feeling a little invisible today. Before we part, please remember that these ideas are shared for reflection and personal growth. They are not a substitute for professional mental health support. If you are going through something heavy, please reach out to someone you trust or a qualified professional. We respect all journeys and all faiths on this path toward wisdom. We are all students of life, trying our best to walk with integrity. Until we meet again, remember that your worth is settled and your soul is a fortress. May you find a moment of true stillness today. Please type in the comments to seal your intention. I guard my inner peace. I guard my inner peace. Stay steady. Stay stoic.